Every Christian needs to proclaim the gospel with their words and with their lives. Proclaim the gospel with your words and with your lives. And quite often I found, at least in my experience, one of the surest ways that leads to me being able to proclaim the gospel, share the gospel to someone with my words, is first the way I live before them, my life. Do we proclaim the gospel with our words and our lives? Even maybe to those who persecute us. I'll never forget, I'm almost done. Before I left New York to go to Texas to start my seminary gauntlet, I worked for a Target distribution company in Amsterdam, New York. I was there about 3 years. In God's providence, I was able to transfer to a Target store, so I had a job heading right into my seminary time. But there were two particular men in my 3 years at the Target distribution center who really didn't like me because I was a Christian. And they made it known with the things that they said and the things that they did. And maybe some of you are aware of this, but some of you probably aren't. You're new here. One of the things that I did when I was still in secular work was, because I wanted to share the love of Jesus with people, I took my testimony and I put it in the form of a letter. And I ended the letter with a poem. And I basically went to work almost every day looking for somebody to give it to. I always had at least one in my pocket, one in my bag. One of the first times I asked these two men, you should have seen the look on their face towards me. They were offended that I would even ask them. I remember one guy, one of the two, his name was Bob. Big, like 240 pounds, just solid muscle. I don't know if he ever played football, but there wasn't an ounce of fat on that guy. He was just solid as a brick house. First time I asked him if he would take my testimony letter, he said to me, "I don't believe in fairy tales, I believe in science." Guess what? 3 years later, the Lord broke him down. In the very last day on the job, as I'm heading out to my car, this man followed me out to my car and said to me, "If you still want to give me one of those letters, I'm ready to take it." The other man was a short bodybuilder dude named Myron. You know, they say some people who are shorter have a complex about them, so they try to make up for it in other ways. Well, this guy was a little short guy. I don't know how tall he was, but he was short. But he made up for it with muscle. I mean, he had calves that were bigger than my arms. And he was vulgar. And all he talked about was all the women that he scored with. And he bragged about it. He did not like me. And he made it known. But about 2 years into my time there, the Lord broke him down too. He not only took the letter, but he came up to me one day and said, "Will you pray for me?" I'm not saying these things to brag about myself. I'm saying these things because if you truly make up your mind that you want to obey Jesus and do what he says in his word, God will use every single one of us in ways you can't even begin to imagine. But it takes saying, "Lord, you said it in your word. I want to obey it. I'm going to pursue hospitality. And I'm going to bless those who pursue me. I'm going to bless them and not curse them." Does this mean anything to us today?